All right, so I'm about to speak from the heart a little bit here. I've got some clients at the moment who I've needed to just give a really assertive reminder of why they're buying property. They have got caught up in the quantitative side of things, the numbers, and they're buried in not the affordability aspect, because that's always one thing, but just the return on investment and hell-bent on maximizing every dollar. This isn't an investment. This is their principal place of residence. It's where they're going to live with their family, and there's even an intergenerational aspect. They're going to have her mother coming to live with them as well. I just need to bring this video to everyone's attention, and hopefully it lands with you at the right time. I'm going to get straight into it, but please, if there's ever an opportunity to just have a little reminder of why we're doing this, why we're on this journey together, why we are buying this property, what is the purpose and the fundamental reasons for making a move, then you need to hear what I'm about to talk about. All right, enough is enough. We need to change the conversation. There is so much content and there is so much emphasis put on the financial aspect of the real estate purchase, and rightly so. It's a lot of money. You want it to work for you. It's a huge wealth generating tool, an intergenerational wealth tool as well. Of course, you want a return on investment, and I feel like there is just a barrage and a swathe of people who are focused on bringing you all the information and the tips and tricks around the financial aspect and getting property to work for you in that capacity. I just need to quickly reframe this, because there's a different aspect of the conversation that I think the human side of all of us really needs to just remember, and we see property through this lens as well. So just give me a second to unpack something important with you now. Okay, so this is all about the concept of purpose-led buying, and this is something that Buyerworks really holds true with as its ethos at its core, and something I identified as our main point of difference, in that we look after the psychological aspect of buying, the psyche and the human element of why we're buying these homes to begin with. And the easiest way to explain this, to kind of trigger a wave of important emotions for us, is let's take the money out of it for a second. Home is something that is different for everyone, but there are some common themes, and it's a concept. It's somewhere safe. It's somewhere to protect us from the elements. It's somewhere to give us rest and peace of mind, and a place to recharge, a place to connect with friends, a place to connect with our community. Ideally, you've bought somewhere, you want to live somewhere that is surrounded by the amenity that supports your lifestyle, that has a community around it. This is the essence of a home. This is the essence of a property. And for you, you're going to have your own definition. And you most likely don't have that written down, but you most likely have a whole bunch of numbers and spreadsheets and budgeting written down, which you need, which is important. But I worry sometimes that the financial aspect and the fundamental aspect of property kind of becomes mutually exclusive. And I'm here to tell you that there's an important overlap, and that both need to be considered, and that the emotional roller coaster that is buying property is normal and is encouraged, because pragmatic decisions can only get you so far. And I spruik that you really need to be quite cool, calm and collected when making big decisions, but that doesn't mean void of emotion. It needs to feel right. You need to walk into a space and experience it. I literally just had a client today. I've had to push with the agent to get a private inspection. He's like, well, let's not do that until, Have they watched your walkthrough, Ash? Yeah, they've watched my walkthrough. Oh, well, mate, let's just make sure that he's happy with the price, the seller's happy with the price before we get your guys through. It's like, well, mate, our price only goes so far. Like, my guys, don't you think it's in everyone's best interest if my clients can experience it? They're here, they're local. If we get them through, like if they're ever going to be in a position to want to beg, borrow, steal, to extend, really push themselves in terms of a price for this property, if we're not far off, don't you think we need to get them through? Don't you think we need to have them experience the space and mentally move in? Like, this place is immaculate. It presents beautifully. It needs to be felt. It's a heart-led decision. The answer is yes, of course, we need to do that, and let's expedite that. And we did. And that was a productive walkthrough that we just had a private inspection of earlier today. And we will, it's changed the conversation on where the price could even land. So that aside, it's so important to just go, I called my clients on the way there. They were driving, I was driving. I said, guys, I just need you to experience the home. Leave all the commercial conversation to me. It's not about that. I just need you to talk about and work through how it's going to work for your family. And that's exactly what they did. I had the agent aside and we started talking about how we can get this deal together, mutually beneficial, really unpack the seller's circumstances and started to create the commercial conversation, right? But it sat separately. And this is the really important thing. Remember why we're buying. I hope this has hit you guys at the right time when you need to hear it. It's so powerful when videos just seem to come into your life at just the right moment to give you a bit of a reset and a reminder of certain things. Yeah, I think today, especially scrolling through my social feed, which is just full of real estate agents and real estate professionals, the algorithm just pummels me with a whole bunch more. It was guys talking about the tax breaks we didn't know about when we should, to leverage this to get our home in here. And then there was a guy talking about the difference, and you really need to make sure that we're talking about manufactured growth opportunities as opposed to the organic stuff. If you really want to supercharge your asset portfolio, and a lot of investor focused stuff. Because again, it's of course you want it to make money, and this is a big part of it. No one wants to go backwards in the property game, but I'd encourage you to make sure you don't go backwards mentally, and that is a step that is going to become a sanctuary for you and nurture and grow your family. Or if you're downsizing, somewhere where you can feel safe and comfortable and surrounded by your loved ones or in that proximity. Or if it is just for work, then making sure it gives you that escape and that solace. There's so much emphasis on happy humans of late that's come out of all the post-COVID stuff, right? The deep dive we've done into mental health. And I think that home, so property rephrased as home, really does play a big role in this. So please just be super conscious. And there's a whole bunch of content around this because I'm a big believer in that this piece of the puzzle isn't pushed enough. So just because I focus on this doesn't mean I don't believe in the investment side. And, Australia is so heavily geared in that. We can look to some European countries, right, where there's not that much capital growth in property, and it doesn't, it almost feels like it's a by right for human shelter. Like it's just got a different flavor to it. But here, property is the essential wealth generation tool. It's the Australian dream, and the amount of money individuals make from property and even corporations when we roll it up into developers and stuff. Like, it's a $10 trillion economy in Australia. It's humongous. It was just a number so big I needed to even think about it. I think we've just tipped back over that in September, took a little dip. Incredible amount of investment and emphasis is put on property, the land and the dwellings and the increases over time to buy smart and to hop, skip and jump and to build a portfolio and to do all this stuff. But let's just, again, for the purpose of this video and for my clients who definitely needed to hear it today, what are we doing this for? Is it purpose-led? Why are we making this move? So I'm not saying disregard the numbers, and I feel like all I'm doing is throwing a bunch of disclaimers here because I don't want to be misconstrued. But the reason I don't focus on the numbers is there's plenty of people that tell you how to do that, and it's not the get rich quick stuff, but it's a lot of educators and a lot of forums to talk about the investment side of property and the macro factors that all go into that, blah, blah, blah. This is a bit of a balancing act. So I just want to bring this back. And that's why I just felt compelled to make this video. So yeah, to just distill the message, guys, it's just about a bit of balance. It's making sure that the considerations are still there for having all the numbers, absolutely. But then I really do encourage you to write down and to keep it prominent why you're buying this property, why you're making this move, what you're trying to achieve, and the things that are important to you from a qualitative perspective. It's a bit of a marketing term and comes from the analytics and data-driven world that we live in now, but there's quantitative and there's qualitative. Quantitative is the numbers. Do they stack up? Is it within budget? Can you do what you want with the money that you've got to spend on it to make it functional for you, blah, blah, blah. But what is that function is the qualitative. How does it feel? Where is it situated in that it's going to allow you to flourish and to thrive and to be happy and feel connected and safe and indulge in your hobbies? Like, is there enough room for you to kind of live you as an expression of you? Does it end up being a reflection of your individuality? And like, that's super important to us as humans. It's a basic need from a fundamental perspective, shelter from the elements and somewhere to keep us warm when it's cold and cool when it's hot and dry and all those good things. But really important on the mental health aspect and the psychological aspect. When we're buying property, just keep that front of mind, guys. That's my advice to today. And I really hope that forms part of the way that we can all just buy better.